Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our virtual Wilkes-Barre Connect Spotlight series. Thanks so much for tuning in with us. If you're not familiar, our Spotlight series consists of quarterly speaker events that provide us the opportunity to feature a lot of really great local entrepreneurs, students, nonprofits, business leaders, and really give them the chance to talk about, their businesses and their areas of expertise. Today's Spotlight is all about entrepreneurs and perseverance. It's no secret that the journey of entrepreneurship is it has its fair share of obstacles, right? And so we wanted to take this quarter to feature some individuals who really pursued their business ventures against all odds. So we're really excited to hear their stories. And throughout today, if you hear something that piques your interest, we really encourage you to drop any questions you may have for them in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, in the chat there too, we'll be monitoring them. If you want something that you want to hear something a little bit more from them. But before we jump in, our Wilkes-Barre Connect Spotlight Series events would not be possible without the continued support of Penn State Wilkes-Barre through the Invent Penn State initiative. So at this time, I'd like to welcome our moderator for today's event, Kara Green. She is the Director of Campus Development and Alumni Relations at Penn State Wilkes-Barre to share some opening remarks and kick us off today. So thank you so much, Kara.
Thanks, Shawnee. Hi, everybody. I'm honored to be here representing the campus, which is located a few miles outside of downtown Wilkes-Barre and is a proud partner of the Chamber, especially working on initiatives and programs that highlight entrepreneurship and economic development within our region. You can learn more about the campus by visiting wb.psu.edu. And now it's my honor to introduce the featured speaker, Dante Batten. Dante is founder and CEO of Utopia Culinary Management and the owner of Rosa's Southern Barbecue. He has over 20 years of experience in the food service and restaurant industry. He's a sharp, self-assured entrepreneur, and he has a resume that most professionals twice his age would aspire to acquire. The New York native earned a business degree from the State University of New York and held an internship with Wall Street megabank Goldman Sachs. The 2008 stock market crash jarred him enough to change his trajectory in his career. Dante went into the restaurant business and has worked with and for Split Rock Resort in Lake Harmony, as well as the Westmoreland Club in Wilkes-Barre. He was the recipient of the 2017 Business of the Year Award from the Greater Scranton MLK Commission. Dante, welcome. The floor is yours.
Oh, Dante, you need to unmute.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Yes, good afternoon. My name is Dante Batten, CEO of Utopia Culinary Management. I would like to thank you guys for this special invitation today. It's truly grateful to be here. Thanks Chamber of Commerce and Wilkes-Barre Connect for this opportunity to speak. Today I'll be discussing a little bit about how we became to be and what we do here right in Wilkes-Barre. So it all started when I first got my first start. I got a wonderful internship with Goldman Sachs, and I just found it to be a wonderful opportunity at the time. However, I believe I couldn't have joined at a worse time. I got this internship around 2007, right in the middle of the financial crisis. And right around the time the Lehman Brothers were collapsing, I was a fresh face with big dreams. And as chaos started to erupt around me in the midst of the financial crisis, I knew that I had to kind of switch gears to really avoid some of the effects of the economy. And growing up in New York City, with skyscrapers erecting all around you, it's very easy to have big dreams and wanting to chase and pursue them. So I got my first start in the restaurant business at the first IHOP opened in New York City. I applied there as a dishwasher and completely worked my way up through the restaurant business, holding almost every position within that restaurant, really learning the ins and outs and operations of how a restaurant works. And after sharpening in my management skills at this location, I decided to pursue my degree at SUNY Wilkes-Barre, where I ran day-to-day operations as a food service manager there. Upon graduating, you know, most like people move from small towns to big cities with big dreams. But for me, I seen an opportunity to move from a big city to a smaller town to pursue those big dreams. And I believe what that allowed me to do is to continue to grow my expertise in a region that would receive it well. And just want to briefly talk about some of the positions and operations that I ran right here in Wilkes-Barre. I had the opportunity to serve as director of the school lunch program, which helped do menu planning and service a lot of the schools with here in the Wilkes-Barre region and really promote nutrition and wellness. Moving to Wilkes-Barre really forced me to be resilient in how I would pursue my career. As I hit my head on the ceiling sometimes with how far I can grow, I really started to get to thinking, how could I advance my career? And it really seemed like the only option was to start my own company. And there were many things that inspired me to start Utopia. More importantly, to bring dining options to regions and areas that lack thereof. So upon starting Utopia, I believe that people are unaware what they don't know when wanting to start a business. So I really started to gather my resources and start to do a little digging on what resources that were available right here in the region. And I came in contact with SBDC and attended some of their classes there and got me on the right track of starting my LLC and really pursuing my dreams, not that of a restaurant manager, but of a restaurant owner. And with getting that intel, I decided to use my culinary expertise as well as a little bit of family history of mine. My grandmother, Rosa Dorsey, who grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, she grew up during the Civil Rights era and was actually neighbors to Rosa Parks. And around the time of the bus boycott, she would serve meals and food from her home, you know, to the local community that would have turned us away due to some of the segregation laws at the time. So I saw an opportunity at a location in Scranton to open up Rosa's Southern Barbecue. We operated this location for several years, and it was a very big hit and received well by the community. As well as a second location located in the esteemed Town Mall. Within a couple of years, the pandemic hit the nation pretty hard. And I believe that it was a time for us to really start to reimagine the food service business. And as we start to face some challenges with some of the local restrictions, we decided to pursue a different sector that we had teetered at before, but we didn't pursue quite as aggressive. And that's in food service contracting, such as the school lunch program, university dining, recovery centers. And what we did was we really wanted to change our objective to being that of a food service or a restaurant company to a company that provides human services to people here and abroad. And we bidded on contracts both in New York City, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And we were successful in obtaining contracts that provide food service in a variety of different facilities. Right now, we hold several contracts ranging from school lunch to recovery. And we're continuing to grow. Right now, we are continuing to look at the economic climate to see what opportunities arise for us to pursue, as well as thinking of what services to the community that we can to add to. Most recently, we added on an environmental services division to also help promote cleanliness and sanitation throughout our schools and government buildings to help fight COVID and a lot of the regulations going on and really protecting staff and employees as they go to work every day. So now not only do we provide food service, we provide environmental services and on-site management to almost any type of facility you can think of. And we have been doing so now for 7 years. We celebrated our 7th year anniversary about three days ago. And there's a lot of excitement in the future. It looks very bright in spite of some of the economic hardships we faced within the past few months. So I hope that people do not get discouraged due to a lot of the uncertainty and using resilience to counter some of that uncertainty that's in the future. One of the models that we kind of go by is we never stop dreaming. You know, we never stop thinking of ways to advance and ways to grow, and even in the light of hardships. So another tip that that's in our company values is we never give in. You know, even once we hit those roadblocks, we kind of like to view them as advantages, such as you know, being a small company and bidding against some of these corporate giants. You know, many people would feel, you know, intimidated to go up against some of these billion-dollar companies, but we are not intimidated at all. If anything, we see that as an advantage because we identify opportunities where we can actually make a difference instead of doing business as usual as some of our competitors. We hope to continue to grow our reach and our influence by promoting our food service program and environmental services here and abroad. And I can see that the future looks very bright for us, and we're happy to be a part of the region to help provide jobs, provide good food, and also to provide different dining options. We have a lot of new projects in the works for right here in Wilkes-Barre and abroad. And we encourage that the public support small businesses in this time, because right now that we're all seeing challenges that are unfamiliar to us, that we haven't operated in, and the community support is absolutely necessary to the survival of other small businesses. Lastly, I would just like to touch on a little bit of the innovation that we are trying to aspire in the region. One of our new projects that we have about to launch is a culinary school in which we are teaching entry-level people who have interest in the culinary field to advance their knowledge and also assist in job placements for them within this industry and within our large scope of food service operations, as well as offering curriculum programs for children to expose them to food and nutrition. Also, one of our initiatives that we're taking within our existing clients and contracts is the promotion of health and wellness as it pertains to dietary. Many people don't realize what effect that food and the type of food that we put in our bodies has on our lives. You know, so we're spending that time to really educate our staff and our communities the importance of proper nutrition and balanced choices. And I hope that we can serve as a role model for other companies in the food service business and promoting the whole idea that food is health, food is love, and food is nutrition. That's a necessity for day-to-day living and survival, you know? So taking our dreams and our company objectives and being able to provide a valuable service to the community is beyond my wildest dreams. I believe that, we all go into business hoping to become successful, but I believe that using your God-given abilities to make a living and to provide a service, it is truly a reward that one can only hope to achieve. And I'm happy to say that we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that and continue to grow. And we're happy to be around the Northeastern Pennsylvania, to call our home, and a place where we decided to grow. And hope that the resources that were available to me continue to grow for other entrepreneurs who are looking to start businesses in the region. Thank you. And that is all I have for you today.
Great, Dante. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know we have some questions for you at the end, I'm sure, from some of our attendees. So I now have the pleasure of introducing our first spotlight speaker, Lonnie Smith, CEO of Cross Trades LLC. Lonnie co-founded the faith-based trade skills program for persons in recovery with his business partner, Lance Hafner, in April 2001. The agency's mission aims to improve a person's life and their community while producing highly skilled, in-demand workers for NEPA's workforce. A native of the Catskills region of New York State, Lonnie now lives in Towanda and has the Cross Trades welding shop in Wyalusing. He has been welding since 2012, first as an apprentice for 3 years, and then striking out on his own after an on-the-job training through Local 798. With 2 years of sobriety under his belt, Lonnie knows how battling back against all odds is a defining trait of today's small business owners. Lonnie, welcome and take it away.
All right, guys. Obviously, I was gonna do like a presentation type deal, and then I realized that this thing is completely different than what I thought. So I'm gonna wing it. But anyways, the business is Cross Trades, and where the name comes from is it's a faith-based program, Cross, and then Trades. We're trying to obviously work on opening a vocational school that will teach multiple trades to recovering addicts. And like I said, our mission is to take recovering individuals and teach them a trade that will enhance the workforce, the community, and their personal lives. Like I said, I got almost 2 years clean time under my belt here. Like I said, the obstacles, we got out as a recovering addict, starting off with no credit. We've every dollar of what we have in this business, we actually started this business. Basically, I got out of rehab, I lost my house, and we literally had a yard sale, and I sold off everything down to my pots and pans, and we started a business with about a couple $1,000, and now we have over a 10,000 square foot facility. It's like I said, me and Lance over here. Come here, Lance. Yeah. Introduce Lance. Let me introduce the rest of the crew here before I ramble on too long. Nice to meet you all. There's Skippy. There's Lance. There's Skippy. All right, Skippy, a little bit of a story on him. I met Skippy in rehab. So I'm gonna actually let him talk for a minute. Why don't you tell me a little bit, Skippy, about how you're doing?
Hi, my name is Jacob Lubin, also probably known a little bit better as Skippy. I am Lonnie Smith's apprentice. I've been in Bradford County now for about 2 years. I've been in Pennsylvania now for about a total of 7, and I'm originally from Columbus, Georgia. Where exactly do I go with this? Just a little short biography. Since I've been here, before I came here, I didn't really have any prior job training. I messed around a little bit with auto mechanics, but never fully pursued it. And since coming here, I basically have just been following what Lonnie's been guiding me and working on these welding machines. Before I came here, I didn't know how to weld. I barely knew what a welding machine was. Now I'm completely disassembling them, putting them back together, and I'm working on learning advanced electronic diagnostics on them. It's something that interests me incredibly because it's just kind of cool how they all go together and how everything has to spec out, and the differences in them it's very cool, and I like it. Life overall since moving here is it's a lot better. I've never exactly had this opportunity to be able to be a productive member of society. It just goes to show, I think, that if you give somebody a little bit of guidance and a little bit of hope, that you can truly excel in whatever you want to. The mind is a powerful thing. Thank you.
So that's Skippy. Like I said, he's doing great. He is completely disassembling, reassembling these machines on his own now. I've been teaching him the last year and a half, and he's finally moved on to, I'm teaching him advanced electronics. I've taught other people in the past my skill. It generally takes me about 3 years to teach somebody the skill, and he's almost mastered it in 2. So very, very impressive. I'm going to let Lance tell a little bit about his story here. Here, Lance.
Hello, I'm Lance. I kind of got drug in on this with Lonnie. Don't know, but that's how it happens. I'm a local 798 pipeliner. I used to be a sheet metal worker, union sheet metal worker. And Lonnie kind of came to me with this idea to do this school. And I told him, I said, well, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that. That's a lot of stuff, but you know, we can give it a shot. So we've been working on that, and we learned a lot just in trying to, it involves a lot. But you know, now I just do the welding stuff at the shop, and Lonnie works on the welding repairs, and I don't really have a whole lot to tell you. He's a much better speaker than I am. I'm gonna give it back to him. Thank y'all.
All right, guys, I guess I'm the company talker, I guess. Well, anyways, a little bit more about what we're trying to do. We're not just, obviously, we're trying to teach recovering addicts trade skills, but we believe that the best way to go about this is create essentially a sober university, or let's call it a sober college, if you will, where we provide housing, counseling, and training all on one location. One of the main reasons for this is because recovering addicts, they need a little bit more one-on-one. Obviously, we're dealing with mental issues as well as other issues. So we definitely need a more concentrated education environment. Also, what this will do is help eliminate excuses. I couldn't make it to counseling, my car's broke down. I couldn't make it to school, my car's broke down. Well, all you got to do now is walk across the hall. So by eliminating those excuses, it's going to massively up success rates. So it's very key to have this all together. And also, we're going to have to create an environment where we have, let's call it special education. You know, we have teachers and individuals that are recovering addicts themselves. And one of the reasons for this is because you can't BS somebody that already walked the walk. I mean, plain and simple, I'll cut right to it. That's what it is. Also, they're going to have more respect for an individual that's doing well, that's walked from their walk of life. So they're not just dealing with a regular counselor that has a PhD that, I mean, it's great, but a lot of these individuals won't have the respect. So I guess the best way to put it is putting them in a familiar environment with people who's already suffered. You know, they've done the suffered. You know, it's kind of like me with Skippy, my apprentice. You know, granted, I have a little bit of a different background than him. I came from a good family, a good home. I just fell off the bandwagon. But when I hit rock bottom and I was in rehab and I listened to all these other individual stories, it made me realize the gifts and blessings that I've had. And I realized that a lot of these other individuals it's not that they're good people. It's not that they can't learn. They're literally a product of environment. You know, so it's like I said, I want to take the skills that I have and now teach it to these individuals, but I've also still suffered the same disease of addiction as they have. So there's a communication there. There's a better relation. It's easier to relate. You know, and I believe that, like I said, by creating this type of environment, we can have a very high success rate. We could take a lot of these individuals and truly recover them by giving them the purpose, you know, the purpose in life, the skills in life. And it's a little different. We're not just educating these individuals in a trade skill, but we need to gradually, as strange as this may sound, introduce them into a civilized environment. a lot of these individuals have never lived in a civilized environment. You know, they come from rough places, rough neighborhoods, and it's a survive world. You know, they've been taught how to survive. It's a lot different. It's a lot different, and I've seen this, and I've personally seen it. It's a lot different than how we live, as strange as that sounds. You know, so it's not just about the education, it's about the counseling and social skills, people skills. These things need taught. Everything down to a lot of these individuals don't know how to write a check. So we need a controlled environment where we can educate these individuals and reintroduce them so they could truly succeed. So that's about all I got, guys. That's the basic gist of what we're doing.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lonnie, for sharing your story. And I know we'll have some questions again from some attendees at the end for you as well. And again, thank you to you and your team. You're doing amazing things. And now I have the pleasure of introducing our second spotlight speaker, Kim Hawley. Kim is a Wilkes-Barre resident and relocated to NEPA from North Carolina about 4 years ago. She has an associate degree and earned her BS in business administration from New Jersey City University, as well as a cosmetology degree from Natural Motion Institute of Hair Design in Jersey City, New Jersey. A former intimate apparel online shop owner, Kim made the switch in 2015 to bring nearly 2 decades of knowledge in retail sales and personal beauty consultations to her newest endeavor, kimsbeauty.com, which specializes in human hair extensions, intricate eyelash work, and hair care. She strengthened her business management skills by attending the Rising Tide Business Academy's Accelerator program, where she was head of the class and even gave the graduation speech. As the loving mother of a son with special needs, while faithfully pushing her dreams of being a small business owner forward, Kim is a living example of an entrepreneur who has persevered against all odds. Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me today on this spotlight panel. And as mentioned in the introduction, I am Kim Hawley. I am owner of Kim's Beauty. I currently have a web presence at kimsbeauty.com where I feature human hair extensions, eyelashes, and hair care products. And, you know, just to piggyback off what my fellow panelists have said, there are a lot of resources here in the area for entrepreneurs and those wanting to start their own business. And I have been a recipient of some of those resources. And so within the next coming weeks, I will be opening Kim's Beauty Suite. Thanks to the resources and the wonderful people over at Allure Salon Group. I will be opening my own salon, and I'm going to be in studio number 113, located inside the Allure Salon Group. And we're there, I'll be featuring curly hair and natural hair care and styling. And I'm just so grateful for the Allure Salon Group and this opportunity. But in addition to being an owner, I also have the pleasure of being mom to the most amazing little 9-year-old one could ever meet. My son, his name is Ryan, and he has autism, and is actually the reason that we relocated to NEPA. It was my commitment, and I'm still am committed to developing Ryan to his fullest potential. Therefore, when I was looking to relocate, I was looking for an area that was gonna allow him to do just that. And we found this area. My siblings, my immediate family, most of them live here. And when I did my research, you know, it was saying that Pennsylvania was in the top 10 states for people with autism to live in. So I said, okay, Ryan, I guess we're going back up north. And so, you know, I'm so glad that we did settle in on this area because his school is just amazing. The school program, his teachers, the therapists, his CNAs, they're just also amazing and have been really helpful with moving him forward in his development. So he's doing well, and because he's doing much better, I felt like, okay, now mom could get back to her career and continue pursuing my entrepreneurial goals. And so, but you can imagine being a parent of a child with autism in itself presents a whole lot of odds that you have to face. And so couple that with continuing on with being an entrepreneur, you can only imagine that I've had quite a few odds that I have faced. And that is why, like, I'm so excited to finally be opening a physical location where I offer beauty services. Because it's been for years, it's been my desire to own a physical location. And you talk about odds. In fact, it was back in 2005. In 2005, I wrote my business plan for a salon. And it was even before that, in high school, I realized that I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, that I was going to be an entrepreneur, and that I wanted my own salon. So in between high school, which was back in 1993, I graduated. I'm dating myself here. But from high school up until now, I'm just, fulfilling that part of my entrepreneurial goal of owning a salon. So you can imagine, in between all that time, life happened and some odds came about that we had to overcome. But I still pushed forward, with that dream. And finally now that part is coming to fruition. And that is why I like to take some time today to speak to my fellow entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs, and share some principles that have really helped me to push forward. Not so much to, just tell my story, but I want to encourage my fellow entrepreneurs and to help them to persevere and push through the odds that they may have faced, or will in fact face. And some of the, it's really been three main principles overall. When I sum it up, when I was thinking about it, it was really three main principles that really kept me going forward and continue to keep me moving forward with my entrepreneurial pursuits. One is knowing my why. Two is being persistent. And three is being patient. And I know it sounds cliche. And I know you've probably heard this before, and everyone talks about, you have to know your why. But really, knowing your why really does help you along your pursuit with being an entrepreneur. Because it would be days on this journey where you would feel like the odds are just so stacked against you. You'll be faced with things like for me, like if you're a parent like I am, you may not have childcare. You may not be able to afford childcare. You may not have anyone to help you with your business. And even if you can afford to hire someone to help you with your business, you may not even be able to find the right employee that fits with your business. There may be days that, your family or, the people may not believe in you, or there may be days that you don't even believe in you. And it's that why, your why then becomes your personal motivator to keep you going through those days and through those times. And that's why it's important to know your why. Another way I persevere is by being persistent, as I mentioned. And you have to be persistent if you're gonna be an entrepreneur. Whether you're starting a business or expanding a business, it's almost certain that you are going to encounter some difficulties and some no's. N-O. And you have to remember when you're faced with those no's, you have to press through that and press through your fear of dealing with rejection and hearing that no. Because you have to remember, for example, if they say, well, no, you can't get the business loan because your credit score is not good enough. Well, Then you take and you find your answer in that no. So if they said your credit score wasn't good enough, then you go, you raise your credit score. Being persistent, you go back to that company and apply again with your new raise score that you've corrected. And hopefully you would get that yes that you were seeking. Because you have to remember, in that no, you find the answer that will help push you forward and keep you going forward. And you have to be persistent and comfortable with hearing the no's, because every no gets you closer to that yes. And while you may hear a lot of no's, you only need one yes for to be successful and to propel you forward. And the last principle, which has really helped me to persevere as an entrepreneur, is being patient. Now, I must admit, personally, that's probably been the most difficult for me. Because it's easy to be patient, like, oh, it takes some time, it's gonna come. No, but when 1 year turns into 2, and then 2 turns into 5, and 5 turns into 10, and you're not really seeing the picture, that you want, you still, have to stay encouraged and be patient even in that season. And however it can be the most difficult thing to do at times, it has also been the most rewarding. But during the time that you're being patient, it doesn't mean that you're not being active in your entrepreneurial pursuits. While you're waiting for things to really come to fruition the way that you want them to, while you're waiting, this is the time to be preparing your business plan, doing your research, honing your skills, and even, getting the word out there, even though it may not be coming, the business may not be the way you like, there's still actions that you can take. And during the time when entrepreneurs, taking this time during the patient, you're developing and refining your skills and so forth. Because I've come to realize, if you utilize that time that you're waiting and being patient, but you're still active, you take that time to prepare yourself. Because for me, being an entrepreneur, I really find that the luck comes from when opportunity meets that preparation. So that's why you would take that time to prepare while you're waiting. And so today, I would like to leave the people with a challenge. And it's a challenge that I've been presented with myself this year. And the challenge is to dare. D-A-R-E. I dare you to do all, risk everything. Take the dare this year to follow your entrepreneurial pursuits. Do whatever it is that you need to do to get those entrepreneurial goals accomplished that you are seeking. Do not be afraid of the odds that may be stacked against you, because by its very definition, to be an entrepreneur means that you will encounter some risk and some difficulties. But I like to quote and remind it, as Thomas Jefferson said, that with great risk comes great reward. So I dare you this year to take it and take the risk. And I wish you all a very rewarding year. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. And now I think we're going to jump into some questions that we had from attendees for our panelists. So the first is for Dante. If you can share a little bit about the challenges that you faced in the beginning when you were deciding to start your company. What did those look like, and how did you go about navigating those?
Yes, thank you. I believe that one of my earliest challenges is that common of many other entrepreneurs, and that's, where do you start? Where do you get started? And for me, the start became in consolidating resources, being realistic with myself, and having that honest conversation of what I'm able to do. and kind of quieting that inner worry that tells you that maybe I can't do it, you know? So speaking to yourself and believing in yourself and that self-assurance is probably the biggest obstacle to face when getting started. But once I believe that you have that self-assurance, it really kind of gives you that battery pack to keep moving and to keep going.
Great, thank you so much, Dante. And the next question that we had come in is for Kim. So what do you feel has been one of your biggest odds or challenges that you've had to face as an entrepreneur?
For me, it has been acquiring enough capital. And because with my son, I took some time away from my career to concentrate on his development. But my career was what was financing, my entrepreneurial pursuits. And so for me, it was having enough capital.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm sure we hear that a lot from other entrepreneurs as well. And the next question we had is for Lonnie, and then we have a few others if we have some time. So Lonnie, how are you navigating the planning phase of your business?
Navigating the planning right now. Well, that's a good question. Faith, I don't know, Jesus. No, seriously though, we're just learning, I guess you could say about that stage and navigating the planning, because as we got the idea and as we got going, getting everything going, and we came over, we talked to the Chamber of Commerce and everybody. That's actually one of the things we're working on right now is writing the project plan. And one of the things I could say about the going about it in the planning process, thank God it's not written in stone. It changes every day. And as things come in and as we learn, we're progressing along. Like right now, we like I said, we started a business from literally nothing, less than a couple grand. We're now grossing over 20,000 a month. Which is not bad coming from zero. And as we gain more funds, we're progressing a little at a time. I finally got to the point where hiring a consultant to help us with that. That's kind of how I'm going about it. Because, well, we're welders. So some of that other business insight we need, and getting with you guys, like the Chamber of Commerce, having these conversations. A lot of our planning, I guess you could say, is exposure. It is meeting the right people, getting out there, talking to people. That's really honestly what's got us as far as we are now. Kim said it. She said it. Persistence. Don't give up. The why is the big thing, like she said. Because there are days just with me, I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, you want to give up. You're like, man, maybe I should just go back to working a welding job and making decent money. But then like I talk to you guys and I think about the people out there still suffering from addiction, and it drives us. So, I mean, I guess you could say we're still in the beginning of the planning stages. We didn't have really a set plan. I guess you could say we're just going with the flow. And then every time we hit that next obstacle, it's almost, I don't know how to say it. You sit there and you look at it, and then that persistence got to kick in, and you do what you got to do. You do the research and you find how to get past that next obstacle. And every time we hit a wall, there's a way over it, around it, through it. So there's somebody out there that can help you. It's written in the Bible, seek and ye shall find. And honestly, that's been what we've been doing. It's working. So that's all I got for now, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lonnie. And we had another question come in for Kim. What advice would you give to a parent who's the primary caretaker for a child or children who wants to start their own business?
Thank you. I would say what Lonnie just touched on a little bit, get help. For me, I can be a little a little controlling. Um, and so you're thinking entrepreneur, my business, it's mine. I have to do this. But no, to really be successful and move forward in your business, seek out help, seek resources, even if it's like I say, getting someone to assist with the child care. Because for a long time I was my son's his sole caregiver. And so, but you have to release some of that if you want to move forward with your entrepreneurial pursuits. So my advice was to seek help. And there are a lot of resources. You can go to your local chamber of commerce. You can go to your small business development center, or even your local SBA. And there's a lot of help for entrepreneurs and small business owners and those seeking to do so. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Kim. So Dante, this is a general question for all of our panelists, but we'll start with you. How has your life changed since you took on the journey of entrepreneurship?
Well, it has changed drastically. The business has become a great part of my life. I breathe it. You know, it has caused me to really exercise work-life balance to a point that I master it to a science, you know, because you cannot neglect neither, because there are consequences for both. So therefore, I make sure that I take care of my family, but as well as I put those hours in the business that are required, you know. And owning a business, there are going to be those long days, those 12, 14-hour days where it requires that commitment. And going into this, you definitely have to be prepared for it. And being a manager kind of geared me already for that. I was no stranger to working long hours and working hard. But once you move into that transition into ownership, you really just have to give that commitment that it requires. And you can't cheat it. You know, there's no way around it. It's required of you, and you got to get it just to get to that next step.
Great, thank you so much. And Lonnie and Kim, I'll start with Lonnie asking you the same question. How has entrepreneurship and this journey changed your life?
It's absolutely changed my life a lot. I ran this business on the side for years, and I never really made the step. You know, I wanted to run my own business. I wanted to do it, but making that leap, because going from what I was doing, which was pipeline welding, so I made a very good living. Okay. So to make that leap obviously took, you have to make the sacrifices. You know, and at first it's all the money goes out. It's not like a regular job where, you know, hey, I make a couple grand a week. If you make a couple grand a week when you're starting off, you're an entrepreneur. If you make 2,000 a week, 2,200 goes into business. You need to find out where it comes from. But I really enjoy it. I do. I enjoy it so much more. I have a 5-year-old son. So not being on the road is, for me, is a huge benefit. It's a second why, you know, like I said, it's another why, and there can be more than one why. I really enjoy the response we get from people when we talk about what we're doing in our mission, and it gives a lot of people hope. You know, and you could just see that light in their eyes that we're trying to bring something that's going to help a lot of people. And that's a great feeling. It really is. It's very rewarding. It's very, very rewarding work. So that's what I'll touch base on. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And Kim, give you a chance to answer that as well. How has this journey changed and impacted your life?
For me, it has allowed me to become more confident and more faithful, because when you take on entrepreneurship, like I said, you're taking on these risks that I'm jumping out here, like Lonnie said, you're leaving your good job, or you know, you're making the transition. to make this your main source of income. So you're taking those risks, and you have to be confident and bold, to take that chance. And so it has increased my faith, like I said, and made me more confident. And it has helped me to be more comfortable with setting boundaries. Because like Dante said, you have to have that work-life balance. And especially when you're being an entrepreneur, because there will be days where there are long days and so forth. So you have to learn that work-life balance. And you have to be comfortable, like I said before, with hearing no. But in order to set those boundaries, you also have to be comfortable with saying no. And being an entrepreneur has helped me get comfortable with doing that. So it's changed my life in that. It's allowed me to set more boundaries, because sometimes I could be really nice to a fault. And you have to be able to have boundaries if you're really going to be successful as an entrepreneur. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And again, on behalf of Penn State Wilkes-Barre, it's one of we love sponsoring this program. We have such a passion for entrepreneurship and economic development from our student and community standpoint. And last but not least, I wanted to ask all of our amazing panelists, how can people connect with you? How can they connect with you, your business, and learn more about what you're doing in the community?
All right, I guess I'll go. Anybody that wants to check us out, obviously the company name is Cross Trades LLC. Facebook's definitely the best. You could see our work, which I haven't touched base on too much, but we build a lot of metal fab, custom welding machines, and we build some basically hot rod welding machines. We build some really cool stuff. So you guys could check out our work. Email is smithlonnie42@gmail.com. And anybody who has questions, advice, maybe a contact that can help, feel free, get a hold of us. And also you guys can contact me personally, 570-665-8007. Call me anytime. I love talking about this stuff. All right, thank you guys.
Okay, I'll go second. utopiaculinary.com. It's where you can see our services. You can also give us a call at our corporate line at 570-472-7064. Learn how we can serve you, all your food service and catering needs.
And you guys can contact me at kimsbeauty.com, which is our web presence, which is the easiest way to contact us. And that's actually KYMSBEAUTY.com. And on Instagram and Facebook, we have the same handle. It's Kim's Beauty LLC. And you'll be able to reach me through those channels. And soon, keep watching the website, because we post it on the website, Instagram and Facebook. Soon, again, you'll be able to see me at the Allure Salon Group in Suite 113 here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Great, thank you so much. And now I am going to throw it back to Shawnee for a closing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kara, for moderating today. It was amazing. And again, a major, major thank you to Penn State Wilkes-Barre for sponsoring our Spotlight events. We absolutely could not do it without your partnership and your support through the Invent Penn State initiative. So thank you so much again. Another huge thank you to our featured speaker, Dante Batten, for your contributions, and to our spotlights, Kim Holly and Lonnie Smith, for participating today. It was really eye-opening to hear about your experiences, and we are so, so excited to see where you go in your ventures, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward. And with that concludes our Spotlight Series event for today. Be on the lookout for our next installment in April. And with that, I hope you all stay safe, and thank you so much for joining us.